Hello everyone, this is Lily the Deck Harlot here. Welcome to my channel. And today I would like to do a response to Simon at the Hermit's Cave to his VR about getting to know your tarot tubers. So pardon me while I look at my list. I'm going to start right now. So let's start with my age, and I'll be honest in saying I will not tell you my age except to say that I'm upwards of 40. Age discrimination and ageism is a thing. So that's all about that you'll get about my age. My favorite book for a long time has been this book called Energy Medicine by Donna Eden. And it's how to work with your body's energy to make you feel better without medical intervention. So it's one book I refer often to for various reasons. So C, career you wanted to be as a kid and career you ended up with. As a kid, I actually wanted to be a nun. I grew up in the Catholic faith, and very young, because of the religious courses in school, like I was fascinated by the lives of saints. And anyway, I eventually changed my mind, and due to various C is for a career you wanted as a kid and the career you ended up with. As a kid, growing up in the Catholic faith, I was fascinated by the lives of saints. So that was actually one career that I actually thought about, becoming a nun. But then I discovered boys and as a teenager, so decided that wasn't the career path for me. And as a teenager, I actually wanted to work in a hospital, and eventually, at the time, there was a lot of cuts in the government regarding healthcare, and I ended up instead in business school, and basically that suited me, and I stayed, and my career ended up being as an assistant to executives until I left about a year ago. So that was my career. My dreams above all else, and my dream above all else is to live a life longer than my parents. My parents died young, and my dad died at 66. So, I'll be happy if I go longer than 66. So E is an essential item you can't live without, and that's a home. A home is where I retreat. A home is where I live. A home is where I invite people for dinner. A home is where my family gathers to resolve disputes. And at the end of it all, my home is my sanctuary. So having home, especially my own home, is very important to me. Favorite? Rider-Waite-Smith deck, and the one I have here is the Centennial, although I do have other decks, and I'm showing you the one from the 10. So it's the recolored one version, and I don't use this one often actually, but this is the one. It's still my preferred one because I like the coloring better. It's less garish than the played back ones. And so here's another one. So G, gold or silver. And I'll specify that I prefer gold, and I'll even specify some more that I prefer white gold. Height, I'm 5'3". Ideal day. Actually, I'm living my ideal day since I left my corporate job. I get up in the morning, I have my breakfast with my husband, if he's here, afterwards I'll go and do my exercise, and that will either be going out for a walk or using my exercise bike and lifting weights in the basement. Afterwards, I'll either meet up with a friend and we'll go out for coffee or for lunch. Otherwise, I'll spend time doing things around the house. In the afternoon, it's pretty much the same thing. And I'll do some socializing in the evening if with some of my friends that are that have day jobs still. So that is my ideal day. Joke. What is my favorite joke? I don't have a lot, but the one that I do have is, I think, is pretty funny, and it's one that it's an oldie but goodie. So there's this story about this vacuum cleaner salesman. Remember those days where they used to do door to door? So this vacuum cleaner salesman was really good at his job, and he never went anywhere. Didn't matter what village he went to, he always ended up selling vacuum cleaners. And so anyway, so on this one particular day, he was in this one village, and he's knocking on doors, and he's going on about, and nobody wants to buy a vacuum cleaner. And finally, so he ends up at this one house, and the lady's saying, like he's trying and he's trying, because he's adamant that he's going to be selling a vacuum cleaner that day, and he goes on, and finally, she's just not interested. And so so rebuffed, he goes down the stairs and goes on the road, and he's trying to think of what he can do to sell his vacuum cleaner. And as he's walking by, like, this is the country, he's walking by a pile of manure. So he's got, oh yes, he says, I have an idea. So he grabs a handful of manure, he walks back to that particular house. So he knocks on the door with the manure in his hand. The lady opens the door, and he goes, smack, throws the manure on her carpet. And the lady's like, what do you think you're doing? Like, this is my clean carpet. Are you nuts? So he says, madam, he says, if my vacuum cleaner doesn't pick up and clean your carpet, he says, I'm going to go down on my knees and eat it. And the lady looks at him and she says, well, she says, you better get on your knees right now, because there's no electricity here. So that's the joke. Kids. No, I don't have kids, but I do have step-grandkids. Living arrangements. I live in a house with my husband. My favorite Marseille deck, and I'm not fussy when it comes to Marseille, and I don't have a huge collection, but the one I do have is it's the CBD tarot. It's the CBD tarot, which is, run of the mill. So yeah, it's pretty standard and traditional. So nickname. Actually, Lily is my nickname. Some people call me Lil, and it stands for my real name, which is Lillianne. My favorite oracle. And my favorite oracle is actually, and I've shown this in the 31 Days of Tarot, and it's my Carrie Paris Lenormand that I modified myself. And it's it's not too small, it's not too big, and these are the backs that I played with. So that's my favorite oracle. What is my passion? My passion is learning and transmitting what I learn. I love learning there's so many things that I've learned over the years and that I learned, but most of all, a lot of the things that I like to learn about is actually, apart from tarot and using oracle decks, is arts and crafts. And since I've been a little girl, I've been into knitting and sewing and weaving and some of the home arts. Oddly enough, I've learned a lot from my aunts that were considerably older than my father, as my father was the youngest of 9 kids. And oddly enough, none of liking or the passion for fiber arts sort of skipped a generation. So none of my cousins, older cousins, weren't interested, but I was just gobbling it up, and I kept pestering all of my aunts that knew how to do something. So, and even to this day, like I still knit, and I quilt, and I make soap, and I like to cook, and so this is where my passion lies, and I also like to teach these things as well. So to anybody who's interested. Favorite quote: life's a bitch and then you die. That's been my favorite quote forever. Relationship status: I'm married. Favorite season: definitely the fall. And again, it's one of those things where fall has always been my favorite season. I look forward to it. I like the fact that the days are getting shorter. I like the fact that staying home doesn't feel like a waste of good weather, especially here in Canada. Like we have, there's the summer season isn't all that long. And, the long days, if you're not outside, it feels like you're wasting your summer. Or, like I say, you're wasting good weather. But when the fall comes back, I like the shorter days. I like especially the color. And yeah, that's all I can say about it. So T is for tarot. What was your first tarot deck? And my first tarot deck was the Hanson Roberts. It's the first tarot deck that I got in the 1990s. It's, Rider-Waite clone. It's a smaller size. I don't use it very often. But I keep it just for, because it's got nice memories associated with it. And the last deck received that I haven't looked at yet, and it's the Wise Dog Tarot that I backed either on Indiegogo or Kickstarter. I don't remember it. I got it a few weeks ago, and I haven't had a chance to look at it. So those are the decks. What upsets me most? And something that I'm always struggling with, and it's I get really mad if someone makes an appointment with me and they're late. And I don't mind a 10-15 minute delay, or if there's a good reason, but I really hate it if you're not here on time. That's one of my pet peeves. And for some reason, a lot of the people that I associate with are always late for some reason. Even my husband. So there's some psychology there that I should probably delve into one day. So then V is vlogs. Which of your vlog are you most proud of, and which is the most popular? Now, I haven't been doing vlogs for a long time, for very long. I don't have that many, so I can't say I have a favorite one right now. But the one that has the most views is, I think, the second or third vlog that I did, and it's my top 5 decks that I couldn't live without. So that's the one that's received the most views so far. Yesteryear for why? Favorite year so far? It's the year that a lot of things seemed to happen, and that was when I turned 40. I ended up getting married, buying a house, and changing jobs. So it's funny how these things happen like that. Like for the longest time, nothing seemed to be happening in my life, and then all of a sudden everything changed. And so that seems to be the year that I remember the most as, yeah, being productive, I guess I could say. And Z is for Zen. What do you do to relax and stay calm? I actually, one of the things that I do is I meditate. And another thing that I do is I go to a somatics class here in my community. So those are two things that helps me keep calm and relaxed. And it's the tools that I turn to if I'm upset. Oddly enough, with all the crafts that I do, like the knitting and the sewing, if I'm upset and I'm not calm, I can't work at those for some reason. So that's basically the end of it. So A to Z, done, and I'm looking forward to other people's response to it. And actually, I'd like to say thank you to Simon for suggesting it. I think it's a great idea. So until next time.